who are here, our congressmen, who are here, I think David, our mayor, Terry, all people that are really invited here from our council of, I'll say, branch, the Massachusetts branch, and also those who are invited from the various chapters. I'll say all the various chairpersons that are here. I'm very honored. You see, when I'm talking, when I hear the name Dr. Bawumia, sometimes my mouth fumbles because he's an economic wizard. He's someone that is so versed in economics that most of the economic management policies that are being happening in Ghana is coming from this very honored gentleman. I am kind of enthused about the knowledge that he actually gives to Ghanaians, and I'll say we all remember what happened during the elections petition that went on in Ghana. This is a man that has moved the country forward. He is a man called the Walwale Wizard. I would say he's also called the man of digitization. He is someone that has been able to let us connect all the systems. I'm talking about our current ID cards that we have. We can use that ID card to get everything that we want to get in Ghana, like here in the US. And that is the only African country that has been able to connect all the dots. Again, this is a man with his economic knowledge who has been able to make sure that even in terms of situations like this, our dollar is falling, our economic situations are bouncing back. He is actually helping with the help of the IMF to make sure that things bounce back. We have the trust in that man. The man who is probably going to be an apostle. Once I actually introduce this very wonderful gentleman, all that I will say is that I know the future is bright. Yes. We have the men. Yes. And as we all know, the most powerful gentleman that we ever produced, very intelligent, smart, young, we should forget. And the man that the NDC fear, the name. Once his name is mentioned, NDC serious. Yes. And we all know what is going to happen in 2024. Yes. With that man said, I will introduce our main man, the guest of honor, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia.
Dr. Bawumia.
Thank you. Thank you very much, please. Thank you very much for those kind words. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Amen. I'm so honored to be here. I'd like to thank Reverend Thomas Ofori and his beautiful wife for allowing us to use his church. Eminent clergy, the mayor of Worcester, Your Excellency, the Honorable Consul General for New York, Atabuafo, Member of Parliament for the Mar East, President of the Chamber of Commerce and members of the Chamber, the chair and executives of MPP USA, as well as MPP Massachusetts, Honorable Consul General, Honorary Consul Designate, Nananum, distinguished invited guests, fellow Ghanaians, ladies and gentlemen. It is really, as I said, an honor and a privilege to be here. I came to the United States I think I arrived yesterday. And this was under the invitation from the Kennedy School, as well as the Harvard Kennedy School of Government and the Harvard Law School. They're organizing the Africa Development Conference, and they invited me to be the guest of honor for the conference. So I came to Boston yesterday to participate in this conference, and I have the good fortune to be able to come back to Worcester because, of course, the people of Worcester, you know that I like Worcester very much. So I don't miss an opportunity to be here, and so I'm very, very happy. I would like to thank the mayor so much for giving me the honor of the key of the city. Thank you. God bless you. I feel so privileged to have this honor. I would like to take the opportunity to share with you this. Of course, I'm sure so much to talk about, but I would like to narrow my comments on the issue of what is going on in Ghana in regards of how we are transforming our country. It's very, very important that we carry everybody along, both inside and outside Ghana, to see the vision that we are trying to implement in Ghana. And I want you to hear it from me. And I've been making this point as I spoke this morning at Harvard University at this conference. And I want to share some of those thoughts with you. What is clear in the context of many African countries, as I look at it, what is clear to me is that many countries on the continent are trying to grow and develop with very inefficient underlying systems. They are trying to develop without the benefit of data. Data is what gives you information, and that information allows you to make decisions. If you don't have data and you take decisions, you are likely to get the wrong decision. And so when I look at the history and I look at contemporary times in many African countries, we've been saddled with this problem of underlying systems which don't yield us the relevant data to take decisions. You see, our economies are very highly informal. And the colonial powers, when they came to Africa, they formalized the economy only to help themselves exploit the natural resources. For the vast majority of the economy, it was highly informal, and then we have proceeded with that. For many countries, we have no unique identification for the population. Citizens cannot, be uniquely identified, and it's actually possible to be born in a country, live a full life, die, and be buried, and there will be no trace of you on any documentation that you ever lived or died in the country. In many countries, you do not have functioning property address systems. Can you imagine what it would be like in the USA if the address systems completely vanished overnight? There will be complete chaos. You can't find your way from A to B. The impact for the economy will be devastating. But this is how many African countries have lived for many years since independence, including Ghana. The majority of the populations in many countries are also excluded from the financial system, don't have bank accounts. In fact, a lot of the poor and rural people are even intimidated to get into a bank, to open a bank account. And when you do that, you have many people who are not saving in the financial system. The financial savings don't grow, and interest rates will increase and affect economic growth. We also have a situation in many countries on the continent where the mode of payment is very cash dominated. High usage of cash makes it very inefficient and not transparent. We also have a characteristic where the public service delivery is largely based on manual systems characterized by bureaucracy and corruption. You go to the ports, the driver's and vehicle licensing offices, passport acquisition, health insurance registration and renewal, and all these processes in the public sector are very frustrating for our citizens. And there appears to be a disconnect between government machinery and the lives of ordinary people. And this is what is prevalent in many of our countries. You'll see also another characteristic is the majority of the population is not identified for tax purposes. In Ghana, for example, in 2017, when we came into office, only 4% of the population had tax identification numbers. Just 4%. And so, you can't tell in that type of economy where such a large number of people don't have tax identification numbers, they are not uniquely identified. You can't tell who has filed their taxes and who has not filed their taxes. And of course, the population knows this, that you cannot tell if they have filed or not. And what do? Of course, they don't file. That is a no-brainer. Without a property address system, the collection of the property taxes is also problematic. You do not have the data to tell which properties have paid their taxes and which have not. In Ghana, for example, when we came into office, only 9% of the properties pay taxes. 9%. The rest of the 91%, they do not pay property taxes. So how can you mobilize domestic revenue when you have this type of characteristics? In addition, the manual systems and lack of integration of existing databases has resulted in a proliferation of fake documentation. There is therefore a constant suspicion around documentation in many of the countries. You have the problem of ghost names on government payrolls, which is pervasive. And many African countries do not have a working system of credit reference agencies to provide credit reports on individuals and businesses to lenders. They don't have the data required to provide the credit scores. Therefore, the potential for borrowers to abscond is high and the cost of credit is high. Ladies and gentlemen, we have lived on the continent with these problems for 60 years and plus since independence. Nobody or no institution has insisted that we must have unique identity, property address systems, financial inclusion, and so on as a prerequisite for growth and development. What is clear is that African countries made the mistake after independence of continuing to rely on natural resources as the colonial powers did, instead of human resources for our development. And the reliance on primary commodities has made our economy is vulnerable to external shocks. As a result, the focus of economic management by successive African governments has been on crisis management. As a result of factors such as collapse of commodity prices, increase in oil prices, debt unsustainability, macroeconomic instability, and so on. So we have not focused on the micro foundations of the underlying system that underpins economic activities and economic growth. And this is what I've just been talking about. Many African countries, including Ghana, are trying to transform their economies without data and transparent systems. Governments are taking critical decisions without being informed by data. And so, when we assumed office in 2017, we made the ambitious and bold decision to address all of these problems of the lack of unique identity and so on, address system, and so on, that we have lived with since independence. We made a clear and deliberate strategy to solve all of these problems once and for all during our term of office. The question was, what is the best way to do it? Our decision was to quickly transform our economy by leveraging technological innovations as a means to leapfrog the development process and public sector governance. And that is why we chose digitalization as the vehicle to solve these problems. And that is why we are focused on digitalization. If data is the new oil, then digitalization is the vehicle to generate the data for our information. So let me delve into what exactly we have done in the digital sphere to address the problems that we have lived with since independence. The first thing that we did in 2017 was to move to introduce a biometric national ID system in Ghana, the Ghana card, which has been a game changer in several ways. More than 17 million people have enrolled on this secure national database. With the Ghana card, the identity of people, even dead people, can be established using their fingerprints. And this is one of the most transformational projects implemented by any government since independence. And I always maintain that the impact of the Ghana card will be seen many, many years down the road. All of you here know what the impact is. Because you can imagine that everybody here in the United States has a social security number, isn't it? Yeah. But can you imagine if there was no such number? There would be chaos. There would be chaos because you don't have a single source of truth. But everybody here has a social security number. And this is the same way that in Ghana now, we are getting to a stage where everybody will have the Ghana card or a national ID number. They are performing similar functions. However, because we have come up with our card in the digital age, we have been able to go one step higher than the advanced economies like the United States, because we've now got a biometric card, which your fingerprints or iris can be identified. And this card has been ICAO certified. It is ICAO certified, and that means, as at now, as at today, if you have the Ghana card and you want to travel to Ghana from the United States, the airlines will allow you to board with the Ghana card. they will allow you to board with the Ghana card, reach that agreement with that. And when you arrive in Accra, Botoka, you can enter the country with the Ghana card. There's a booth for Ghana card holders, and when you present it, you will be allowed to. I know that for the people like you in the diaspora, the question is, when are we getting our Ghana card? I've got some good news, because the embassy has told me, and I have talked to the National Identification Authority, they are getting ready to come to begin the issuance of the Ghana card to the diaspora. And the good news for me, and I think that the issue was how simple, how efficient are they going to undertake this issuance. But the good news is that they have digitized the process. And so you are going to be able, from Worcester here, to fill and apply for the Ghana card online. You will be able to do it online, and then the process of taking the commissioner of oaths can be also done online, and you sign. And then the last thing is for you to just go and do your biometrics, and your card will be issued for you at the embassy. So it's going to be a very simple process that is going to come, and I'm very excited about that. One of the other things that we have done, we have completed a process, and we are doing a pilot now, because we want a situation where when our children are born, they will be issued the Ghana card ID at birth. So the work on that has been completed. The test will be going on this month and next month. And we will start the rollout nationally from June, where all the children born will now be given a national ID number from birth. So we are formalizing the country. So we have integrated the databases of the births and deaths with the national ID, with immigration, with police and everything. And this is something that is new for us, something that is very, very important for us to do. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the absence of an address system in Ghana resulted in a landmark address system. That is an address system based on landmarks, past the greenhouse on the left, the cocoa seller on the right, the big tree, and the Kelly seller on the left. And then you turn left. But if the Kelly seller doesn't come that evening, you are fully lost. So, when we looked at this, when we came into office, we said, look, we have to go digital. We have GPS technology today. Every point on earth has a GPS code. And we said, let's leverage on GPS to move into a digital address system. Now, this is what we did. So we advertised to try to get this, and we got a solution from Ghana, from within Ghana. They provide. Our guys are so smart, by the way. The IT sector, they are just amazing. So they blew everybody out of the water and came up with a digital address system. So every inch of water or land in Ghana has a digital address. Every inch has a digital address. And so we are able to provide digital addresses for all the properties in Ghana for the first time in our history. And so if you go, you see us rolling out the digital addresses, which has got the street name and the digital addresses. And so far, we have been able to place 8.5 million properties on the system. 8.5 million properties. And this new system of digital addressing has made it very easy for businesses to locate customers and vice versa, and for emergency services to quickly respond to calls. Additionally, it has made it easier for government to identify properties. We have therefore solved a major problem that we have lived with since independence. It's just fantastic what has happened in Ghana, and we've done this through digital technology. Then we go through financial inclusion and the payment system. One of the biggest problems that was impeding financial sector development in Ghana is the issue of financial exclusion. This means that most of the population is excluded from fully participating in the financial system because they are unable to open and operate bank accounts, and therefore you have to use cash. As of 2017, the data shows that 70% of the people in Ghana had no bank accounts. But at the same time, when you looked at the data, 80% of the adult population had mobile phones. Right? 70% did not have bank accounts, but 80% had mobile phones. And with 16 million active mobile money accounts, it was, however, not possible to move money from one mobile telco to another. You couldn't move money from Vodafone to MTN and so on. So we asked the following questions. Why can't we make it possible to send mobile money across different mobile money service providers? And also, very, very important, why can't the mobile money account function like a bank account by making it interoperable with the bank account? That was a big question. So I put this question to the technical people. Said, can't we do these two things? Make the movement between telcos and also between the mobile wallet and the bank account. Now, the issue then becomes interoperability. We have never seen any country in the world, the whole world, being able to do interoperability between the mobile wallet and the bank account. It had not happened. It had not happened in the world, it had not happened in Africa. So we set up to do exactly that. Mobile money payments interoperability is what we said we were going to do. And we were, by the grace of God, able to accomplish that task. And that has made it possible to transfer money seamlessly across different mobile money providers and between bank accounts and mobile money wallets. And in so doing, the mobile money wallet in Ghana is now got the functionality of a bank account. So if you don't have a bank account and you have a mobile money account, you can do pretty much what you used to do with a bank account. In fact, many people today don't even go to banks. You are able to do a lot of transactions just using your mobile money account. And as a result of what we have done in Ghana on mobile money interoperability, Ghana has become or has the fastest growing mobile money market in Africa. And Ghana, as I said, as far as I know, is the only country, the first country in the world to have done this. And that is very remarkable by any stretch of the imagination. Today, the payment system platform that we have put in place is a unique one because we have brought the fintechs, we brought the telcos, and we brought the banks on one platform. And that is what is unique about what we have done in Ghana. Fintechs, banks, and telcos are on one platform. So today, it is so easy to open a bank account in Ghana. For many banks, anyone can open open a bank account remotely through your mobile phone without visiting the bank or even filling any forms. All you need is your national ID card. That's all. Because all the questions the bank are going to ask you for KYC are all on the national ID card. So, for many banks today, if you want to open a bank account, you dial a USSD code, put in your Ghana card number, and that is the end of the story. Your bank account is open. That is it. Wow. And so we have now made it very, very easy by putting this platform, and this is why a few months ago, Ghana was adjudged #1 in Africa as far as access to financial inclusion is concerned. So through digital technology, we have practically solved the problem of financial exclusion. And this is a problem we have lived with for over 60 years since independence. The digital payments infrastructure that we have put in place is boosting e-commerce in Ghana. Businesses are booming over Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and so on. And many people who cannot afford shops and so on are able to do business on the internet at little cost. And deliveries are helped by the digital address, and payments are made through mobile money. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's look at domestic revenue mobilization. As I said, most adults were outside the tax net. Only 4% of the population had tax identification numbers. 4%. And so, we asked the question, why can't we change the tax identification number? Because, as I said, we've issued Ghana card IDs to everyone, just like the social security numbers that you have. So we said to ourselves, why can't we make the Ghana card number the tax identification number instead? And we said, why not? And we said, let's do it. And we made the Ghana card your tax identification number. Immediately we did that, the proportion of adults with tax identification numbers increased immediately from 4% to 86%. And I know by the end of this year we will get to 90%. Just by that policy, you've gone from 4% to 86%. Now, of course, we have 86% of the adult population now with tax identification numbers or Ghana card numbers. So we have to make it easy for them to pay their taxes. So what we have done, a few weeks ago, I launched 3 initiatives by the Revenue Authority. First, anybody can dial to see what your tax status is. So you can dial a USSD code to find out whether you are tax compliant or not. So that you can see how much you owe or what you need to pay. Secondly, anybody can file their taxes on their mobile phone at home. You don't have to go to any revenue authority to fill any long forms. You can do it online. And you can pay those taxes for those taxes online. And you can also get a tax clearance certificate online. You don't need to go and talk to anybody at the GRE. So these 3 things have just been introduced 2 weeks ago, and I think that it will help us broaden the whole tax net. So digital technology has enabled us broaden the tax base, and so this is again something that we have not been able to do since independence. Furthermore, we said that only 9% of properties pay property tax. Now we have the digital addresses of all properties. And this has now allowed us to put in place a unified platform for property taxation in Ghana. The first time in our history. So if a property doesn't pay tax, we will know. We now have the data, and we know where the owners live. So you cannot escape. You cannot escape. And so this is now being, is going to be rolled out, is now going to be rolled out, the digital property addresses. But essentially, on this system, anybody who is paying the tax can even see their own house online, because we have all the maps and everything to make sure that this is it. And you'll be encouraged to pay your tax online so that we get no problems on that. So it's a major thing that has happened in Ghana. Furthermore, we are trying to make sure government services are delivered efficiently without corruption. And our approach to doing this is to minimize human contact. You only have corruption when you have human contact. A computer has never asked you for a bribe. Neither has a mobile phone. So you can only have corruption when you have human contact. So we're trying to limit or eliminate human contact where possible. And therefore, we are digitalizing the process of public sector service delivery. So what is very interesting is that the passport office, the processes have been completely digitalized. So you can sit at home and apply for your passport, and it can be even ultimately delivered at home because of your digital address. It is a very simple process now. So you pay, there are no gold boys or middlemen involved in the process. So you just pay what you need to pay and you pick up your passport. We have also digitized the ports, made it paperless, and it has reduced a lot of corruption at the ports. We've digitalized the driver's and vehicle license registration processes, and so you don't have to wait for several months to receive your license. And I think for those of you who go back to Ghana, you should try and go and get a Ghana license. Once you have a US driver's license, you can go and present it. They will show you all your background right there. They have a first class, the data is there, and they will issue you a Ghana driver's license almost immediately. Almost immediately. For those of you who are born, you should test the system. I tell you, and I'm always teasing my US friends that our system is more efficient than you find in the United States. You should try it when you are next in Ghana. What we have done also is to digitize the motor insurance database. By digitizing the motor insurance database, you can dial a USSD code and put in any vehicle registration. Especially if you are about to board a commercial vehicle, you can put in and make sure they have insurance before you board. If you put in the USSD code, will come back to you to tell you whether this vehicle is insured or not. And the police can also tell whether the vehicle. So if you put in a fake insurance sticker, they won't even look at the sticker. They will just go to the USSD and tell whether you have insurance or not. And so the issue or the days of fake insurance is over. It's over. So we have done also what we call the Ghana.gov platform, where we have brought under one platform all government services. So if you go to Ghana.gov, you will see government services that you can get in one portal, and you can pay for the service and go on with your business. What is also key, we've created all these databases, but it's important that we integrate the databases so that the systems talk to each other. And so in this regard, we are integrating the national ID card database with other databases such as passports, the SNIT, the National Health Insurance, the GRA, bank accounts. Because if you're going to open a bank account, you need your national ID, the DVLA, SIM cards, mobile money accounts, and so on. Births and deaths, police CID, and so on. The integration of these databases is bringing transparency, discipline, and efficiency into our economy and society, and will also help law enforcement track down criminals. With a proper protection of privacy as provided by the Data Protection Act, employers should be able to do an online criminal background check on prospective employees, for example. Because sometimes, and a lot of times, we hire people without really knowing their background. So now we have put the national ID and integrated it with the police CID database, the criminal database. So you may want to hire a driver, or a watchman, or a maid, or whatever. But you don't know them. Or you may want to hire a teacher, but you don't know them. But now, with what we are doing, very soon, which will be announced publicly for everybody to be able to do, you can, if there is consent, go and do the check on your mobile phone, put in the Ghana ID number, and you will tell whether this person is a criminal that you should hire or not. The system we are building in Ghana will make it easier for individuals and businesses to obtain loans because it provides lenders sufficient information about borrowers. Banks also know that the borrower cannot just disappear in the system. The system, you cannot disappear in the system now. Whichever way you go, the Ghana card will track you wherever you are going. Just like your social security number here, you cannot disappear. The system will help reduce interest rates on loans because it will make Credit Reference Bureau more effective. Now the Credit Reference Bureau can do the proper work of providing credit scores. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I now come to the issue of medical drones. In many parts of Africa, as in Ghana, hospitals and clinics in remote areas and rural communities have difficulty in getting medical supplies, especially in times of emergencies involving childbirth, snake bites, blood supplies, and so on. Many lives are needlessly lost because the hospitals are unable to access critically needed supplies on time. So to address this problem, I came with a team to Silicon Valley, I think in 2018, and we engaged Zipline. Zipline is one of the leading medical drone delivery service provider in the world. The world's largest automated on-demand delivery service for medical supplies. And we engaged them and told them, look, we have many remote areas that could really use and benefit from this technology. They came into Ghana. We currently have 6 drone delivery centers in Ghana. And Ghana was the second country after Rwanda to implement the delivery of medical supplies to remote areas through drones. When Kamala Harris, the US Vice President, came to Ghana, she was very, very impressed because during COVID, these drones delivered almost 9 million vaccines to remote areas as a result. I should add that Ghana currently has the world's largest medical drone delivery service. Period. We are the leaders in the world, the whole world. And even though we came for the technology from the US is only now engaging Zipline to start that in the US. And what is remarkable about this What is remarkable about this, whenever you visit Ghana, please, if you have time, just visit one of the drone centers and just stay for 15 minutes and see the operation. It works on artificial intelligence. It's extremely, it's a phenomenal technology. And what is remarkable about it is that all our drone centers are being manned 100% by Ghanaians. 100%. They're trained and they're just doing a fantastic job. 100%. These young kids have such talent across. Many lives have been saved as a result of medical drones. We have also, in the medical area, launched the e-pharmacy system in Ghana. Patients or people generally face difficulties when trying to find medicines in pharmacies. They have no way of knowing which pharmacies have the medicines. Sometimes you can go to 5 different pharmacies looking for the medicine. Sometimes patients are directed to go to specific pharmacies to buy the medicine, denying them any advantage they may have in choosing from a lower price shop or pharmacy. People also don't know the prices of the medicines at the different pharmacies and tend in their time of vulnerability to just buy at the prices offered when they find the drug. And it's also difficult to tell whether the medicine is fake or real. And so, to address this problem, we have implemented the e-pharmacy platform. Basically, the digital e-pharmacy platform offers the opportunity for everyone through a mobile phone to upload your prescriptions and find out which pharmacies near you have the medicines. Secondly, you can compare the prices for the same drug offered by different prices so that you can buy from the lowest price pharmacies. And you can order the drug on the phone, and because of your digital address, it can be delivered for you at home. Ghana is the first country in Africa to implement a national scale e-pharmacy platform, and we're one of the few countries in the world to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the key things that has driven the relative success of our digitalization program has been that we have worked in collaboration with the private sector. All the digital platforms that we have brought about are being run by the private sector, not government. It's very, very important to note that. The private sector has the incentive to make sure the system is running. Government sometimes has the incentive to break the system, to make sure it isn't running. Because the private sector makes money when systems run, the government sector makes money when the system doesn't run. So the incentives are different. So we're making sure the private sector is working with government and they are running a lot of these systems, even though we control the data. And that has really worked a lot. One of the things that I would like to mention is that from 31st of March, so it means today, if you land at Kotoka International Airport, you will see a more efficient system for clearing the passengers. There are no filling of forms for landing or departing passengers anymore. We said, look, we've gone digital. You have all that information already. So why burden people who have come and to fill the forms again? And so right now, I've been following the data. The maximum any passenger seems to spend now at immigration is 1 minute and 30 seconds. Wow. 1 minute and 30 seconds. And we are seeing such efficiency so that you clear and all of that. I also want to There are some people I heard who are spreading rumors that if you have a U.S. passport, you cannot get, you should not get a Ghana card. It's a lie. You should get a Ghana card. And all of that. Later this year, the e-gates will be functional in Kobuka International Airport. With the e-gates, it means once you come in and you put on your Ghana card, it will open for you once you verify, and off you go. You don't even have to go to an immigration officer. So we are doing so much, ladies and gentlemen, in this space. And it is something that I believe that it's important to share with you, that without some of these things, this country will not develop. Many countries develop because they have systems. You develop with systems, and what we are putting in place are systems. Transparent and efficient systems. Doesn't depend on who you know. You will sit down and you can access any service just online, and then you pay and off you go. And so it's very, very important that we continue on the path of digitalization. The truth, as I said earlier, is that African countries are politically free. While we are politically free, we still have a mindset that is shackled by the experience of slavery and colonialism. We, for a long time, tend not to believe in ourselves. The dominant mindset is one of impossibility. We need to break the shackles of impossibility mindset and embrace the mindset of possibility. It is time for us to figure out the best ways to be masters of our destiny, to chart our own path, and to develop on our own terms. It is possible. It is possible. By the grace of God, it is possible. Thank you for your attention.
BMW.